2018 is officially done.
It was a very good year.
And what an incredible year it's been for gaming. We've seen the return of Soul Calibur, Red Dead Redemption, God of War, Spyro. It's been insane, and that's just naming the few that I can remember. It truly has been amazing. But now comes the hard part. Now I have to try and narrow down a list of 5 of my favorite releases in 2018, and I'm nervous. I mean, this is going to be a very difficult list to compile. Very difficult. Because there have been so many great games released this year across so many platforms that I'm afraid I might ignore some vital pieces of gaming love. Do I really care? No. On second thoughts, I'm not actually that nervous. I mean, I believe that these are the top 5 games of this year, and you know, the laws of subjectivity will protect me from the mountains of hateful comments I'm most likely to receive for, you know, voicing my opinion. But I'm quite thick-skinned. I'm a middle child. I know what it's like to be told, shut the f*** up, your opinion doesn't matter. And in a weird way, I kind of like it. Fan mail! Let's have a look. Wow. Ooh. Dane, you're brilliant. Your opinion is so... Thank you very much. Dane, you really, really are great in front of a camera. We love you. Thank you very much. Dane, you are an utter asshole. You should just roll over and die. Your opinion isn't worth What a beautiful thing to say. Speaking of beautiful things, nostalgia is a beautiful thing, and probably the main reason why I picked Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu, or Let's Go Eevee, depending on which edition you picked up, for my number 5 slot. Now, I can kind of understand the reaction most people have when a fully grown man, such as myself, brings up Pokémon in an everyday conversation. I mean, you're bound to lose respect points, but ultimately, I don't care, because I was once a child, and when I was a child, this was my jam. This was the shit back in my day. And to be honest, maybe I should stop having conversations with losers. Maybe I should do that. Because only a loser wouldn't like the prospect of what is essentially a remake of Pokemon Yellow for the Game Boy on the Nintendo Switch, looking shiny as hell. And I used to collect shinies. Okay, so only people over a certain age would know what that means, but if my 87 hours of gameplay are anything to go by, then this game definitely deserves a mention. Now, if it's gameplay you're after, look no further than my number 4 choice. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Marvel Spider-Man. It feels like I've been waiting an eternity for this game, but it's finally decided to swing its way into our lives. And I'm so sorry, Xbox One guys, but PS4 exclusive. A little note from my Xbox owners, if you've ever needed a reason to hate a PS4 fan, this is that reason. You're welcome. The combat and the general movement in this game, just phenomenal. No other word for it. I've never felt more of a superhero until I played this game. It looks beautiful, it plays beautiful, and the web-swinging traversal system is absolutely perfect. Plenty of main missions, an insane amount of side missions, loads of geeky Easter eggs and in-game landmarks, and it just appears to be the gift that keeps on giving, with loads of DLC just dropping left, right, and center. Honestly, Insomnia, you knocked this one out of the park. I salute you. Straight off the top, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not into the whole cowboy thing. I'm not a fan of westerns. People have been pushing me to watch Westworld for like the past year, and the fact it's got cowboys in it is just off-putting to me. But when Rockstar announced that they were going to do a sequel to Red Dead Redemption, I was all in. Red Dead Redemption is the only Western-themed thing I've ever really given a crap about. And did they disappoint? What do you think? It's Rockstar, and even being known for gratuitous violence and turning us all into horrible human beings, Rockstar know how to tell a story. And when it comes to stories in gaming, I'm front of the queue at the midnight launch. Not only are Rockstar great at telling stories, they're phenomenal at creating amazing characters. And Arthur Morgan, is no exception. A rough around the edges, seasoned badass with a dark past and unshakable loyalty to his gang, I had a feeling from the word go that Arthur Morgan was a man's man. And not in a, I'll come home after a long day's graft, go down me local, sink a couple back, come back, the missus, and then stumble onto the sofa and fall asleep to match of the day kind of way. In the, I'll grab you by the cut your off, shove it down your throat, and smoke a cigar as you choke to death on your own kind of way. Basically, I'll hurt you when I won't think twice. And he's not the only highlight of the game. I mean, Rockstar have this thing where you can basically live your own life inside of a computer game. I didn't feel that I needed to even follow the narrative. A lot of the time I just went to taverns, stole horses, shot lawmen, and just enjoyed being a cowboy. This is coming from a guy who isn't a fan of the idea of being a cowboy. And I think if anyone wants a bit of escapism, this is definitely the game for you. A sprawling, beautiful, gorgeously crafted game with a charismatic and charming lead character, an enthralling story, tons to do, an awesome array of weapons, and, you know, as many bank robberies as any cowboy could handle. I mean, what more could you possibly want? The Decimator of Greek mythology has returned, and this time he's taking on the Norse gods, and he's brought a beard, an axe, and a very small child. I mean, what else do you guys honestly want me to say? This is an instant buy. Kratos has always been one of my favorite PlayStation characters, and when I heard they were reshaping the franchise, I didn't know what to do. My mind was blown, but I couldn't even imagine what it was I was going to be experiencing once the game came out. Concept art started leaking onto the web. There was that E3 demo that just looked absolutely insane, but still, nothing could possibly prepare me. The night before the game's release, I called up my boss, told him to suck it, and prepared myself, completely unbeknownst to the fact that this game was going to possibly be not just one of the greatest gaming achievements of this year, but of the entire decade. And I don't say that lightly. A statement like that is ballsy and dangerous. But just look at it. It is absolutely gorgeous. And not only is it gorgeous, it's got depth and weight. Two very, very important ingredients when making a game. Now, having said that, the God of War series has always had depth and weight. It's just something you've had to really look for. It's buried under all of that button bashing and, you know, blood and guts. But it's there. But to, you know, strip that away, without completely stripping that away and taking the identity of the game, but just enough to bring home the story, to ramp up the characters, to ramp up the character development and mythos. You know, the things that make a game magical, that's brave. And I have to take my hat off and bow down to Sony for that move. I guess what I'm saying is, this is the first God of War game I've played in a while where I feel the characters and the story are at the forefront of the game. Yes, there's still the blood and guts and testosterone we've grown to know and love, but at its core, this game is a story of a father and his son, wrapped up in an absolutely jaw-droppingly gorgeous package. This is how you remake a franchise. If you want depth and weight and consequence to each action, then this is the game for you. Detroit Become Human from the geniuses at Quantic Dream is spellbindingly amazing. Picking the other 4 games to make up this top 5 list was always going to be the issue, because my number 1 was clear to me from the very moment I put this disc into the disk drive on my PS4. I am a huge Quantic Dream fan. I've been following this game for a number of years, and I can tell you that they have delivered and then some on this title. I have played all of Quantic Dream's work. I'm a huge lover of Heavy Rain. I'm probably on my 13th, 14th replay of Heavy Rain as we speak. It was remastered not so long ago in a double pack with Beyond Two Souls. Not too keen on that one, but Heavy Rain was my jam and continues to be my jam until they brought this out, and then it changed the game forever. Now, if you've played any of Quantic Dream's stuff, then you know that they're big on story, but also they have their renowned mechanic for consequences, actions, reactions, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, it's very easy to make decisions in real life. It's not always easy, but we make hundreds of them a day. But I've always been fascinated by decision making in gaming. And not just making decisions, but decisions that will affect your gameplay 5, 6, 7 hours later, instantly, or even cut out your character from existence at that very point. It's always been something that has fascinated me beyond belief. Now imagine how I felt when I heard that Quantic Dream were going to be bringing out another game, again with that fantastically fascinating action-reaction consequence malarkey, but this time with multiple characters, interbranching decision making, and all set in the not so distant future, covering the topic of artificial intelligence, androids, and their struggle for humanity. Mind blown! And on top of that, it would feature an all-star cast of TV stars from shows I've been watching for years, and it would push the graphical prowess of a PS4 to its absolute limits, thus giving you something so lifelike, it's almost scary. Yep, I literally thought I'd passed out, died, and gone to gaming heaven. Let me just go back a second and clear something up. So, the whole interbranching storylines and interbranching consequences, action and reaction malarkey isn't completely new. That did feature in Heavy Rain. But what I really was looking forward to, because of Heavy Rain, is knowing that I was about to play a game where I was emotionally attached to each character I played as. Again, like God of War, I am a story-driven gamer. And what comes with story-driven gaming is love for the characters you play as. And that only comes along when you get developers who aren't afraid to make you feel. And that's what Quantic Dream continues to do time and time again, and what they've pulled off in this title. They've made me feel. They've made me feel the weight of every decision I've made. They've made me understand and empathize with each character's plight. And they've made me want to replay this 8, 9, 10 times. For the record, I'm on my 7th. And that is why Detroit Become Human by Quantic Dream is at my number 1. An incredibly engaging story, an all-star cast who just knock it out of the park, replayability up the wazoo, decisions that will leave you haunted for weeks, and a developer who isn't afraid to make the player feel. Quantic Dream, thank you for making my 2018. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my top 5 games of 2018. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification down there and all that jazz, and make sure you visit the comments and let me know what you thought were the top 5 games of this year. You've been fantastic as always. Join me again for another top 5, and remember, don't be an asshole.